that takes us to pedals, because you're only traveling with this one Huber, right?
Yes.
Cool,
Normally I'll have 2 Hubers, one in drop C and this for standard and drop D.
Right.
And then I'll also have a thin line as a backup in case. But
so I love the pragmatic approach of the drop pedal, so that way you don't have to travel with so many guitars.
And I mostly, unless we're, like when we're doing these shows with Clutch and these festivals, we don't get a very long set, so we're not even doing the drop Cs. So I'll use it as an octave.
Okay.
Just it's like your dry signal plus an octave.
Up or down.
And then and it can do a drop, a polyphonic drop, which is
it's got a momentary feature, right, where you can hold it in the middle.
Yeah, you can switch that and you can just kind of tap it or whatever. But yeah, it's cool. And I actually replaced this knob.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks modded.
That's like an MXR knob, and I put one of these Grolsch washers under there just so that I don't, because I'm a little sloppy. Like every once in a while I'll hit both of those by accident and cut myself out. But anyway, I kept moving it. So I put that on there and a little washer under there so it can't, I mean, you can still turn it, but it's just
not
a lot
easily,
tighter.
right, yeah.
Same thing on this guy. These two, because when I mash this, I'll end up going like, and I'll move them. And now you can still move them, but they're like just a little more, they're stickier.
They're not gonna.
Yeah, you're not gonna knock
spin
it
with
into
your
a different
foot. Yeah,
spot.
cool.
So yeah.
Cool. I guess let's. Obviously, you got the little mini polytune, which is handy.
Yeah, I used to use a Boss TU2 or TU3, but I like tiny. I like small.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah. So I got the Polytune 2, then this Digitech drop. I was using a MXR Bass Octave Deluxe, but it's not polyphonic and it can't do the drop thing. So I was like, well, this can do the octave and it can do that. So I've kind of started using this guy.
Yeah.
And then the Phase 95, and usually it was just a normal Phase 90, but again, I'm trying to keep everything small. So when they came out with this, I was like, I gotta get one of those.
Have you ever A-B'd that between the 90?
Yeah, I can't tell a difference.
You can't? That's awesome.
I can't tell a difference. And it can do a 45, and you can do the script style also. I basically run it like a 90.
Sure.
Non-script style. That's just kind of what I like. Then this is an Earthquaker Devices Dispatch Master, and again, kind of to save space, because this is reverb and delay in one pedal, which is rad.
So when you kick that on, is it giving you reverb and delay, or do you have it mixed?
Yeah, I have I mean, not like a ton of reverb. And actually, really, like most of the stuff, it's off most of the time. There's none of these that are on all the time. It's just to kind of accent some parts. But well, just to accent some things. But yeah, so this is kind of for like a noisy thing. And really, before our last record, I only had a tuner and a phaser. And then I was like, I should try and do some stuff that we did on the record live, so I added some stuff. And I've also been still playing with the order. Normally, well, before, we just did a tour in South America and I didn't bring this guy. I have a Quilter Tone Block 200.
So just a power amp.
And it's great. It needs, for me, it needs a little extra gain, so I put this.
That's what the Thunderclaw's for, sure.
And I originally had this guy last, and I had this here. Or actually I had that first. Anyway, but I noticed that this thing doesn't do well if it's after distortion. So putting it before distortion, it's kind of like this is just pretend this is the preamp and then the amp. So
Gotcha. Are you using this now with the Sun?
Yes.
Just when you want to really beef it up?
Yeah, it's for like solos, just to kind of make it pop out. I got the treble cranked on it so it just cuts through a little bit more.
Because these are a little dark.
Yeah, a little bit. And I used to use a Small Sound, Big Sound Mini, which works really well, even though, a lot of times you hit an already really cranked amp with distortion, it just compresses. It doesn't really do much, but that Small Sound Mini really works well, and this Mr. Black Thunderclaw works really great. And this thing sounds great.
And those cats are out of Portland too, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
A Portland dude too.
Rules.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I tell you what. Before I let you go, can I hear your amp?
Oh, sure.
Then let's go through these just to hear its basic tones.
Well, here's the basic sound. And then you want to do some octave stuff. I like that because it's polyphonic.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of like when a normal octaver kind of freaks out, it can't tell what note. I like that too, but
when it's
I
like jumping between the
it kind of can't figure out which frequency to do the octave on. And then the phaser, of course. And that's probably my most used thing.
I was going to say, that sounds great with that amp.
Yeah, it works really good. And then the delay, I'll do some high up stuff.
Atmospheric kind of.
Yeah, that's the reverb plus the delay.
The decay on that is great.
Yeah,
It's got a
and
really
it
nice
can
decay.
get really big. I have it about halfway up.
I bet that can get away from you, huh?
everything at noon, but yeah. And it's mostly for some sort of noisy parts. And then this Thunderclaw is, you almost can't even hear it.
Just puts a little
Just
hair
a
on
little
the top.
beefs it up a little bit. And for like, just helps that
So
stuff
when you're
pop
ripping
out.
leads, I'm guessing you're cranking that on.
Yeah, I'll step on that for
because it definitely
leads.
helps it cut.
Yeah.